Several years ago, I spent a year and a half making a cookbook for the family. Here's the cover, the Bush Covey Coyle Family Recipes. Recipes and stories passed down from all the great women who came before me to those who come after. And on the cover is a picture of my mom and dad wearing an apron, which I love that. It says Carl F. Bush and Marie E. Covey, enjoying life one fried chicken at a time. My mother fried chicken and my dad ate it. It was a thing. And in the fall, we'd have pheasant. And a lot of times for Thanksgiving, we had pheasant more than anything. It was always so good. My mother knew how to cook it. My dad knew how to shoot it. You shoot it in the head. My mom knew how to cook it. And it was really good. I could do an episode on that. Matthew shot a pheasant a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't do a very good job cooking it. I'm going to have to practice that, but he's going to have to shoot more pheasant for me to practice. So anyway, I have in this book written a lot of recipes. I think at last count, which I've added a few more since then, I think there are 190 recipes, almost 200 recipes in here, and I've added a few. But I put pictures in here of the family and memories. I wrote memories about things. Here's German pancakes. Pictures of my mom and dad and my grandparents and my great-grandparents and my grandkids, my children, because I love them. Got in clam chowder that's not, or corn chowder or bacon chowder. I made clam chowder one time, and I tell about this in the book, and the kids ate it. First time I made it, the kids ate it, but when I cleaned up, I noticed there were all these clams left in the bottom of the bowl. They didn't like the clams. So the next time I made it, I didn't put clams in it. I put bacon in it and slicked it up. That was a thing. I write a thing in here about virtuous woman, which is a scripture. Who can find a virtuous woman? Well, I was surrounded by virtuous women when I was growing up. My little town of Mineola had a lot of good virtuous women. Some of them were kind of tattletales or talked about others, but that's kind of human nature maybe. But the women in my life didn't so much. They were more concerned with just getting food on the table every day and getting that laundry done, and my golly, they ironed everything, including their bed sheets. Can you imagine? And my grandmother, when I was little, had an old washer that was a ring washer. I can't even describe to you how much work that was, and she didn't have a dryer. So in the winter, she'd hang things in the basement to dry, and sometimes it took a while because the basement was dry and cool. But the best thing is when she hung sheets outside. Oh, my mom did that. It was so good. But I want to share this page with you right here. That's a picture of Matthew the first time he took me to Montana. And I love that picture. Look at how young he is. He was pretty bald then. I kind of always liked bald men. So I wrote this. This is actually from Norman Maclean's A River Runs Through It, which is a great movie. I've read the book, but I like the movie better. Robert Redford tells a story, and it's beautiful. But this is an excerpt from his book. It says, "It was here, while waiting for my brother, that I started this story. Although, of course, at the time I did not know that stories of life are often more like rivers than books. But I knew a story had begun, perhaps long ago, near the sound of water." And I sensed that ahead I would meet something that would never erode, though there would be a sharp turn, deep circles, and a deposit and quietness. Eventually all things merge into one, and a river runs through it. There's the title of the book. The river was cut by the world's great flood and runs over rocks from the basement of time. On some of the rocks are timeless raindrops. Under the rocks are the words, and some of the words are theirs. And this book contains their words. Tells her story. Okay, I can do this. Eventually all things merge into one, and a river runs through it. So this is my story. I took this picture of Matthew on the Gallatin River in 1976. It was the first time he took me to Montana. He talked the entire drive from Provo to West Yellowstone, sharing stories of fishing as a young boy on the Snake River, his dog Rusty at his side, the bum lamb he raised, and lessons he learned from his scoutmaster, Phil Hatley. But once we headed north through the canyon, the conversation changed. I sensed his excitement grew with every bridge we crossed and every mile. The highway followed the river, which tumbled and spun over rocks, then slowed through deep, dark eddies, flowing backward against the strength of the current. He was looking out the window, pointing at things he wanted me to see. In nearly a sacred tone, his vocabulary changed to phrases like, "Looks clear," "salmon fly," and "next bridge." It would be a few years before I realized the Gallatin, along with the Jefferson and the Madison rivers, form the Great Missouri, which flows down to a place where my people come from. My dad was born in Missouri, not far from the Missouri River. The only fishing I had done myself involved a lawn chair and a red and white bobber. When we pulled off the highway, Matthew put on his chest waders and became aware of my innocence toward the art of... I should start over. The only fishing I had done myself involved a lawn chair and a red and white bobber. When we pulled off the highway, Matthew put on his chest waders and became aware of my innocence toward the art of Montana fishing. I sat on a rock wall and watched him walk through the tall, marshy grass toward the sound of moving water. In the distance, he stood at the river's edge, looking up and down the clear, cold water, searching for the deep shadows along the curve of the shore where he knew the big fish would be. It didn't take him long to decide where to go as he determinedly waded into the slow-moving current, his fishing net dangling from his side. I watched as he began stripping his line, sending it in a high arc, then softly laying it on the water. His fly drifting lazily on the current, it became clear he had a sixth sense about where the fish were. It was magic. In no time he had landed a beautiful rainbow trout. "I'll take this home to Mother," he said. "She'll cook it tonight." Soon he netted another fish, and then another. As I sat in the cool shade of the canyon and watched him casting and patiently waiting for the fish to bite, a sense of familiarity took over. It was like I had known him my whole life, not just the past 6 months. So peaceful was the feeling, I just knew I had seen that very moment before, like a preview for a great movie. It was then I realized we were meant to be together in this journey, a journey that took us from Utah to Montana, then Colorado, and finally back to Utah, netting 5 kids along the way. Some days were long, but looking back, I can say the years were short. That day on the Gallatin River, when it grew too dark to see his line, he reeled it in and joined me on the rock wall. We talked for a while. Then I stepped down and snapped this picture with the camera he had taken on his mission to Germany. He was reluctant to leave this place, and I now know a part of him would forever remain there at the river's edge. Matthews never wavered in his love for me, though I suppose there were times he wondered what he'd gotten himself into. He was always there when I needed him, and he was there the times I just wanted him near. Perhaps the greatest message in this book is this: I have loved and been loved. Surely there is nothing beyond that which matters one bit. Love you more.